Isn't Lake Huron the biggest of all the lakes?
No, I don't
No?
know, but I know that it joins with Lake Michigan up underneath the Mackinac Bridge.
Oh, is that
So
right?
yeah,
Oh. And have you been to this meeting before?
yeah. You've given me homework quite a bit, so
Yeah. Oh no. Okay, you have 25 days sober. All right.
yeah.
Just
Now I've got
checking.
some homework
Oh,
to
good.
share with
Well,
you guys too
we'll
today.
uh we'll check back in with you on this. Um, Craig. Hey, Craig. How are you? Where are you calling from, Craig? And how long have you been sober?
From Pennsylvania, and it's been 39 days.
39 days, Pennsylvania. Have you been to this meeting before?
I have, yes.
Okay, that's right. So are you what are you doing? Working on your 5 days?
Yeah, you gave me some work last night. I didn't get to
Oh,
it
good.
yet, but that's my goal.
Get to it while we're on the meeting. Okay, glad you're here. We run Zoom user. Hey, Zoom
Hello.
user. Hello. How are you? Where are you calling from, and how long have you been sober?
Well, I'm calling from California, and today is day 5.
And what's your first name?
Elena,
How do you spell that?
Elena.
Oh, they named a hurricane after you. Oh,
Yeah,
that was Helena. Uh, and have you been to this meeting before?
I have not.
Oh, okay, good. What made you decide to come today? Because you're trying to get sober and stay sober.
Yeah, I my original sobriety date was September 19th, 2000, or September 14th, 2019.
Yeah.
And I have a 4.5-month-old and went through some postpartum depression, which caused me to slip. And I read the
Oh,
name of this meeting, which is quite fitting for where I am.
oh, I know that's perfect. What and where did you find this meeting on the OIAA thing or just by
Yeah,
doing this?
a app,
Yeah.
um,
Oh, mhm.
the
Where's
online
Cassie?
finder through the AA
Hey,
app.
Cassie, you have a small child. How about postpartum depression and drinking for you? Mhm.
Sorry
Sorry.
about that. I had my teenagers were down in the room. I didn't want to start speaking in front of them.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go through postpartum depression, but I definitely looking back on it now is like absolutely I see it as a relapse for sure. Because I when I was able to start drinking, I did, and I went like balls to the wall.
Yeah. Is it hard for moms to have kids and all of that?
I mean, I just think it's for me, it was definitely a coping mechanism to kind of deal with the stress. It definitely helped relieve stress. It's something that I've learned helps, and it doesn't. Um, yeah, I don't really know.
But you're sober now and you have a
I
small
sure
child.
am.
You
Yeah,
have a small child. How
I
are you do
do.
how do you do that?
Um, this program taught me just to look at life differently. It taught me so much as far as changing my mindset instead of using it as a crutch for when I feel frustrated. And there's so many days I feel frustrated, being pulled all different directions. Also teaching full time. It's just so many different things for me to do instead of going to a bottle to calm my stress and my anxieties and
You come
and
here
and
every
whatever.
day.
I
You've come
try,
here
yeah,
every
yep. If
and
it's
you
not my
have like a
in-person meeting.
you have a small child. You have two
Yep, I have a
teenagers.
2-year-old,
You
I
have a
have a
hus
16 and a
you have a
19-year-old.
husband. You have a
Hmm.
husband, you have a job,
Yeah,
and you're sober 16 months.
yeah,
My point is it can be done. Yeah.
through that. Yeah.
But it must be like extraordinarily hard for you moms. I think maybe harder than for us guys who have jobs and all we have to do is come home and make a sandwich.
I don't want to say that because I mean
Uh,
we all have difficult challenges in our lives, but
I'll say it.
this program teaches you.
I think guys have it easy. Being a guy, I think,
I'll
anyways,
let you
but
say it.
all right, yeah. No, so Elena, see, so if Cassie can get sober and stay sober, right?
Right. Yeah, I fully understand that. I know the journey is one that is ongoing. It's every single day. And you know, having lived sober for as many years as I did,
Mhm.
I know what my triggers are, and I know what's going to keep me sober, and that's staying in the meetings, staying in
Yeah,
these, and reading my daily stuff,
that's right.
and
You got to
continue.
show up. You got to
Yeah,
show up. You got to
that,
show up, no
and
matter what.
I stopped showing up, and I let the
Yeah,
pressures of life take hold.
yeah.
And just like Cassie said, you know, it's so easy when you're feeling stressed just to grab a drink.
We have,
And
listen, we have moms, we have sober moms in this meeting. Cassie's here. She's
yeah,
sober. Here's look at this. Here's Lisa, 96 days. She's a greeter. She has a child in the hospital.
Mhm.
She's sober. And
wow.
And the
Wes,
hospital has to be next to a bar conveniently.
Oh no, Lord.
Yeah.
so and then Emily sent the text. She's sober and a mom. So you can do this. So here's the deal. Show
Mhm.
up here for
Hey,
5 days in a row. See how you like it. Because this is Newcomer Slippers Step Workshop. This is AA 101. This is AA class. This is the only meeting like it in the world. So when you read, said, "Oh my God, Newcomer Slippers Step Workshop." This is like we go from 0 to 90 in here. Glad you're here. Um, all right, I think we're ready to go. Would you like to put everything up to read there, Preston? And Matt, you want to read? And I'm going to turn on your cameras at this point here. Guys, let me see. Excuse me, please. One second. There it is. Pictures. And you can turn your video on. I think we've got everybody here. All right, Matt, over to you
Okay.
if you want to introduce the meeting to everybody.
Yep. Mad Alcoholic. Welcome to Newcomer Slipper Step Workshop. If you're new to AA or coming
Hi,
back,
Eric.
this meeting is for you. This group is exactly what the name says, a workshop. We read 5 AA books, work the steps, sponsor you, give reading and writing assignments. We'll teach you an AA program. We move right along here and people get well here. Newcomer Slipper Step Workshop is a step workshop. Unlike most AA meetings, it's not a speakers meeting nor a discussion meeting. It's more like an AA class, AA 101. You want to have the attitude of learning, do the assigned reading and writing on the steps. And we'll take you through the steps in AA books in short order. So if you're looking for guidance and direction in an AA program, this meeting is for you. Security for Newcomer Slipper Step Workshop. We use the waiting room. When you come in, we ask your first name, last initial, country or city, and how long you've been sober. We have chat turned off. You can chat with the host or co-host. Unmute is turned off. Cameras and pictures are turned off at the beginning of each meeting. We turn them on later. We don't exchange phone numbers. You can get the number of the host for text and support. Here is our email for meeting confirmation. stepworkshop1@gmail.com. This is good for school, class, work, probation, court orders, etc. And there's a link to the meeting in chat. We do all the above for safety reasons since everyone is new here and we want to protect you. Zoom bombers try to get in and the above eliminates them. You'll notice this is a step workshop and not a speakers or discussion meeting. It's like a class, AA 101, AA University. It's a very unique meeting since we use the same principles AA used between 1932 and 1939. Everybody works in the group and moves through the 12 steps to live our lives free from alcohol and learn a new way of living. Glad you could make it. Announcements. AA in this meeting is supported by our own contributions to Seventh Traditions. You can make donations to @Jann-Scott in Venmo. Contributions go to pay for Zoom, and we make monthly donations to Boulder 1 AA and Boulder County AA. We spend about $250 a month. This group meets daily with the following formats. Monday's step meeting, 12 and 12, Meme Monday. Tuesday's Big Book, T-shirt Tuesday, AA inspired as preferred. Wednesday, as Bill sees it, Sunglass Wednesday. Thursday, today is beginners, steps 1, 2, or 3, or any beginner related topic, and it's Dog Thursday. Friday's open, the chair picks the topic, and it's Cat Friday. Saturday, Living Sober, virtual background day, and Sunday, daily reflections, Fashion Sunday. Please join me in the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. AA Preamble. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of people who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We're self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. There's a link to the newcomers packet in chat. With that, back to you, Jan, in the studio.
All right, hey, thank you. Hi, everybody. Again, welcome to Newcomers Slippers Step Workshop. Hey, Jessica, hi. I have to ask a few questions to make sure we don't have any Zoom bombers. Jessica, you're here for AA, right? Where are you calling from? How long have you been sober?
Yeah, I'm calling for AA. I'm in Los Angeles, California. I've been sober for 5 days and I'm returning from yesterday.
You are. Good for you. Glad you're here. Welcome aboard. And Sean, how about you? Where are you calling from and how long have you been sober?
I'd rather not say if that's okay.
You have to shout it out. Can't hear you.
I'd rather not say if that's okay.
Okay, and are you sober? Are you here for AA?
I'm here for AA.
Okay, and good. And how long are you sober? Or are you sober?
I am sober.
Well, that's good. All right. And how long you got? Do you have any time or are you new? Must be new, right? We'll put you down as day one. Put him down as day one, and Sean is in the world. So we'll put Sean World working on day one. So now, today, before we do classroom work, we're going to work on these. We're going to go to the topic for today is the 12 concepts, which are not the same as the 12 traditions, nor are they the same as the 12 steps. So you want to paste them up there, Preston, so everybody can see them. And then what are you putting up? Are you putting up the short form, the long form, or what?
Yeah, I'm putting up the short form.
These are the 12 concepts of AA. Or if you can't do it, Matt, go ahead. You do. Oh, there he goes. So he put them up. Here they are. I don't see these numbered out. Do you have anything that's clearer than this, Matt? What do yours look like?
Yeah, he might have to do it.
See if Matt, because these are all messed up. Oh, I see what happened here. The 12 concepts of AA. So are they all up there? You can put the long form up too. So, and then here's a link, you guys. I'm going to put this up right now. You can follow along with me on this link since this thing looks like it's all screwed up. If you guys click on that, okay, and you can turn your cameras on too. There's the, let's see. So I'm going to put up the long form for everybody again so you guys can see this. And I'm going to go through them right now. And where's Jeff? Jeff, I'm going to make you a co-host. And I'll just ask, do you happen to be familiar with the 12 concepts of AA, Jeff? Is that a yes or a no? You're talking to yourself. Jeff has this problem with unmuting. We'll ask again. Hey, Jeff, do you happen to know anything about the 12 concepts? Over to Jeff. Okay, well, while you're unmuting, I'm going to read these things. So he's lost. All right, long form. So the final responsibility, I'm reading this, and ultimate authority for AA World Service should always reside in the collective consciousness, or the collective conscience of our fellowship. Number two, so that's number one. Number two, excuse me, when in 1955 AA groups confirmed the permanent charter for their General Service Conference, they thereby delegated to the conference complete authority for the active maintenance of our world services and thereby made the conference accepting for any change in the 12 traditions or in Article 12 of the conference charter, the actual voice and effective conscience for the whole society. So what they're talking about is these are guardrails or guide rails so that people just don't jump into AA and start changing everything. As the case, you often see that case here. A couple of weeks ago, we had some people that just wanted to change everything. We don't like this and we don't like that. And I'm like, too bad. Okay, number three, as a traditional means of creating and maintaining a clearly defined working relation between the groups, the conference, the general service board, and its several service corporations, staffs, committees, executives, and thus ensuring the effective leadership. It is here suggested that we endow each of these elements of the world service with the traditional right of decision. So what they've done here is they've put everything under the very same rule so that everything is done by group conscience, and all of these different boards that AA has have to work together and get along. The important thing to know here is that Alcoholics Anonymous is an enormous organization. It is worldwide with millions of members and hundreds of thousands of AA groups all over. And amazingly enough, we all sort of work the same way under the same sort of guidance. So this, again, this number three concept is it's their declaration that we should all work together because they didn't want the thing. That's why it hasn't flown apart. Okay, let's go to number four. Throughout our conference structure, we ought to maintain at all responsible levels a traditional right of participation, taking care that each classification or group of our world servants shall be allowed a voting representation in reasonable proportion to the responsibility that each must discharge. What that means is this right of participation so that everyone in AA and everybody at the group level or at the or in a conference has the right to have their opinion heard. That's the whole part. So we don't have boards or it's AA is not a top-down organization, it's a bottom-up. So everybody has a right to a vote and a right to be heard. I don't know what that's about. So they're reestablishing that. I mean, in a lot of ways, this is a lot like the traditions. This is sort of they created this in 1955 as the glue to hold the whole organization together. What is it necessary? I don't know, but we got it. Throughout our world service structure, a traditional right of appeal ought to prevail, thus assuring us that the minority opinion will be heard and that petitions for the redress of personal grievances will be carefully considered. So they really laid this out too, so that if your group has a group conscience, and let's say there are 10 people in the group, and 2 people really disagree with what the group conscience is, then they go back to this thing of let's see, where is it here? The minority opinion. That is something that's really stood out over the past few years. The minority opinion is not only important, but sometimes it'll change an entire group conscience. And a group conscience isn't just the vote of the people, it's the vote of the members of AA along with God, because we always have God involved in this. On behalf of AA as a whole, our General Service Conference has the principal responsibility for maintenance of our world services, and it traditionally has the final decision respecting large matters of general policy and finance, okay? But the conference also recognizes that the chief initiative and the active responsibility in most of these matters should be exercised primarily by the trustee members of the conference when they act among themselves as the General Service Board of Alcoholics Anonymous. Okay, so now the trustees, I think there's like 12 or 14 trustees. Um, so on behalf of A as a whole, the principal response for the maintenance of our world services, and traditionally has the final decision respecting large matters of general policy and finance. So they're talking about the business of AA. And rather than have, the whole damn body of AA vote on business matters or whether or not we should pay the rent for, the AA headquarters in New York, they let the trustees decide how we're going to pay bills and what, and how many books we're going to print and all of that. It's kind of business decisions that the general group like ours really doesn't need to be involved in. Okay, the conference recognizes that the charter, I realize this might be slightly boring, but hang on with me because we're going to make our way through it. And at least you'll not be able to say, well, nobody ever told me about these concepts. The conference recognizes that the charter and the bylaws of the General Service Board are legal instruments that the trustees are thereby fully empowered to manage and conduct all the world service affairs of Alcoholics Anonymous. It is further understood that the conference charter itself is not a legal document, that it relies instead upon the force of tradition and the power of the AA purse for its final effectiveness. So they're separating here what's a legal instrument and what is not a legal instrument. And again, it says here that the trustees are empowered to manage and conduct all of the world service affairs of Alcoholics Anonymous, and which basically down to some of the business stuff like publishing literature, paying rent, telephones. We have service centers all over the world. I mean, there's a main one in New York, there's one in Los Angeles, there's one in Paris. We have them everywhere. Um, Number 8, the trustees of the General Service Board act in 2 primary capacities. A, with respect to the larger matters of overall policy and finance, they are principal planners and administrators. They are the primary committees directly manage these affairs. B, but with respect to separately incorporated and constantly active services, the relation of the trustees is mainly that of full stock ownership and custodial oversight, which they exercise through their ability to elect all directors of these entities. So AA has these sort of separate corporations inside of it. The whole thing is one giant nonprofit, and sometimes we even question why we even have this or have to lay all of this out, and it's there to keep Alcoholics Anonymous basically intact the same way that it was in the 1930s. Number 9, good service leaders, together with sound and appropriate methods of choosing them, are at all levels indispensable for our future functioning and safety. The primary world service leadership, once exercised by the founders of AA, must necessarily be assumed by the trustees of the General Service Board of Alcoholics Anonymous. So once AA votes on something, then it's up to the trustees to make sure that it's carried out. Number 10, every service responsibility should be matched by an equal service authority. The scope of such authority will be well defined, whether by tradition, by resolution, by specific job description, or by appropriate charters and bylaws. So for every little department that AA has, um, they're again going back to this service structure or authority, or or the trustees holding those particular jobs intact, so they always remain the same. So you don't have mission creep inside of AA. While the trustees hold final responsibility for AA's World Service Administration, they should always have the assistance of the best possible standing committees, corporate service directors, executives, staffs, and consultants. Therefore, the composition of these underlying committees and service boards, the personal qualification of their members, the manner of their induction into service, the systems of their rotation, the way in which they are related to each other, the special rights and duties of our executive staffs and consultants, together with proper basis for the financial compensation of these special workers, will always be a matter of serious care and concern. So this basically says we don't end up like some of these nonprofits, where uh, the directors are getting paid $1 million or $2.5 million a year, depending on how, a lot of nonprofits do that, and you read about them in the news. AA, it just, it's whatever employees they have in big cities like Los Angeles or New York, they're going to basically get, then generally these are office workers, etc. They're going to get wages that are commensurate with whatever it takes to live in a place like Manhattan or New York. And these are the controls. Uh, these are the controls that keep it everything. And so they have different committees and different. You have a board of there's AA, there's a board of trustees, and then they have different committees um, and departments. But it's really kind of funny because Alcoholics Anonymous probably has more redundancy than any organization I've ever seen in my life. They spend a lot of time just dicking around and never getting anything done. So like that saying of we ought not be organized to the max. So our little class here, our AA class, I mean, we shortcut a lot of things. It's pretty simple. I mean, our mission in this particular meeting is uh, it's a newcomers, slippers, step workshop. That's our job, taking people through the steps. And like in today's case, we're just explaining what the concepts are. Occasionally, we've had at least twice where we've had groups that say, well, we don't like how this meeting's going, da 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 da. And so a couple times people have had group consciences and then they all quit and left. So then we're back to like 4 or 5 core people that have some sobriety. And then we're back to doing what we do here. Actually, that's how we evolved in this meeting from a general meeting with a lot of sharing and discussion to specifically a class teaching the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, and taking very new people who have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days sober through the 12-step process to help you see if you can stay alive. So this particular meeting that you're in right here, this is like the emergency room of AA meetings. Okay, this this is like it literally is. We have people who are detoxing. That's why we often say, see your primary care physician. If you're really sick, go to the ER. Um, uh, and we try to help people out here. And we have people that come and go through this meeting on a daily. I mean, they've had 30,000 people in this meeting in 5 years. Every week we have 100 new people come through here. So we're a little different in that we're a class, we're a workshop, but still we just had a group conscience about a month ago. And the group conscience was essentially were you at that group conscience, Matt, or not? Can't remember. You have to unmute because I can't see.
No, I don't think I was. I was gone for like 4 days.
Okay. Well, we had one. We'll have another one too. But anyways, uh, number 12, general warranties of the conference. In all proceedings, the General Service Conference shall observe the spirit of AA tradition, taking great care that the conference never becomes this, check this out, the seat of perilous wealth or power, that sufficient operating funds plus an ample reserve be its prudent financial principle, that none of the conference members shall ever be placed in a position of unqualified authority over the others, and that all important decisions be reached by discussion, vote, and whenever possible by substantial unanimity, that no conference action shall ever be personally punitive or in an incitement to public controversy, that though the conference may act for the service of Alcoholics Anonymous, it shall never perform any acts of government, and that, like a society of Alcoholics Anonymous, which it serves, the conference itself will always remain democrat in thought and action. And they even have a manual out on this. Okay, so what does all this mean? I Beats the shit out of me. I have no idea. But no, AA, it if it's like a bounce tube, different groups they go through sort of growth spurts and bounce back and forth inside, and they try to maintain these basic principles. Some people say that Alcoholics Anonymous is like a working anarchy, add God to it. You have a working anarchy plus God, but somehow it all sort of works out. Occasionally, you'll have some clubs or different groups, and they'll just go bouncing right off the walls. Like, there, without getting into too much detail, like there's sometimes you'll go to clubs and they'll just start banning people all over the place that they don't like. Or you'll go to I've heard about some groups where, they have a strict Christian God, and if you don't believe the way they believe, then you're shunned, which is not, AA is not like that at all. It's not supposed to be. Um, in our group, it's a little different because we're the only group like this out of the thousands of groups that there are in the world. We're the only one that's actually a teaching class. Yet we still try to, you know, follow the traditions and these concepts, and so far we seem to be doing, a pretty good job of it. Um, and again, I mean, everybody that comes through here is so new. I mean, people are coming and going every day. People are dying in this group every week. We lose people all the time from alcoholism. Sometimes we hear about them, sometimes not. Um, so I mean, that happens in most AA groups in any big city. This group, it's even more so because, like I was saying earlier, it's like, we are the Zoom version of an emergency room, of things happening to people. So we have in this group we have a team similar to we're a lot like that meeting, which is called the uh 24-hour international meeting out of London. Matt, would you put a link up for that for everybody to look at? It's called the 24-hour international AA meeting in London. It's the only meeting that we recommend. There are 100 to 150 people at that meeting all the time. The meeting starts a new meeting every hour on the hour. It's been going just as long as we've been going. We started at exactly the same time in March of we started earlier actually, March of 2020. They started in April of 2020, and I started getting on there in about June of 2020. Sometimes you'll see me there sharing and things. But that's there are new people going in and out of there all the time, and they have pretty good precepts. Like we have greeters and co-hosts, and we have like we don't allow people to unmute in here by themselves or even chat because sometimes we get Zoom bombers, we get drunk people in here or aggro people, and we just don't allow that disruption. Mostly because we are a workshop and kind of a teaching group, um, and then a working group, people get reading assignments here, writing assignments, um, and moving forward. It's the only meeting like it in the world. Yet it works, and we're listed with AA. You can find us on the meeting app. But we're also listed with OIAA, which is the international meeting list. So, anyways, that's it today on the concepts, and at least now somebody told us about the concepts because you go to most AA meetings, they never ever bring up the concepts. They're not brought up, or they don't even bring up the traditions. So past this past week, what have we gone through, Jeff? We've gone through the traditions, the concepts, the triangle.
Yeah.
We've gone through a lot of. We
Uh,
went through the five books.
Did you call it, did you ask me to speak? What is wonderful, with my years, I never even heard of the concept till about 2.5, 3 years ago. I got involved with a group that we were doing steps and they touched upon the concepts. I had no idea what it was. What I could see is, and promptly forgot in the last 2 years. What I could see is the beauty of this meeting is I can tell about once every month, a month and a half, or whenever we come up to it, we'll spend a half hour on the concepts, just like you did, and we'll go through them, and it'll ingrain them in us, which is important. That's the only way you get it. Thank you, Jan.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. Okay, so there you have it. Anybody else have any questions on what we just went through? I mean, they're there, you can copy and paste them, but mostly they're about, they're just more structure to the structure to keep AA together as um, I think as a working anarchy and enough. All right, so we're going to move on. We're going to do our classroom work right now. So I'm going to start. So you notice, incidentally, we have a team here. So like there's Matt and Preston and Cassie and Lisa starting to help us now too. And all of that is to be and myself to be of service to the new person who comes to AA to help you guys get sober and stay sober and make your way through the steps. And everybody who's on our little service team of um of greeters, and at least in this meeting, are sober for a while and up in 12 steps. The 24-hour international meeting, I mean, they have people who are chairing or doing service work that are like they sometimes have 4 or 5 days sober, and that's like they're gone. But anyways, that seems to work for those guys. Let's start with Matt. So Matt, hey, what is your daily program right now, and what are you working on?
Basically, when I get up fairly early. I read the daily reflection, do like a morning prayer, shortened version of page 86. Think about what I want to get done for the day. throughout the day. I use the Serenity Prayer not quite a bit, but periodically. Just it sort of calms me down and just lets me, not get overly worked up about anything really. And then I'm doing service work here, step 12, trying to really transition to like becoming a part of my life for like Jeff and you 30, 40 years. I'm still, it's hard to believe, I can get there at some point, but can keep coming to the meeting. It really helps me out, focusing and just staying in touch with everybody here, keeping it fresh, focused.
It helps keeps us sober and also helps keeps us centered in our
Yeah.
life. How about you, Preston?
Preston alcoholic. Yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, steps 10, 11, 12, talking with you when I need to, talk about inventory throughout the day. And doing a lot of like reading on, spirituality and a lot of stuff like that. And just a lot of service or different, different types of service throughout the day, whether that's here or, to my dad or out in the world or whatever.
You seem more calm. You're more calmed down than you have been when you were in AA in the past?
Yeah, I think, just different. Probably overall, yeah, definitely. Mhm. Yeah, it's kind of yeah. Also, there, kind of like Cassie was talking about. I kind of it's seems a little easier for me on Zoom to. I'm not the best with like public speaking and reading, but like there's a different factor not standing up behind a podium with 50 people there. It's a little different, so a little bit more
You
comfortable.
seem like you're doing really good here. I mean, I have to tell you, since I've
Yeah,
seen
for
you,
the
I mean,
most
you're like
part, yeah.
remarkable change.
I appreciate that. Yeah, this really helps. This meeting is really like authentic and real, nuts and bolts of it. It's pretty cool.
I know. I mean, we can go from being like, the Craig Ferguson talk show to Suits in 2 different days. Like a legal
Yeah.
show. I don't know. Speaking of Suits, Cassie, how about you? What are you working on every day?
I am also living in 10, 11, 12. I attend a meeting from 6 to 7 every morning on Zoom. And it's a prayer and meditation meeting. So we do the St. Francis prayer, the acceptance prayer, we do the upon awakening, and then we do the daily reflection. And then I go to work and kind of stay in step 10 throughout the day. I say the serenity prayer probably more than any prayer I've ever said in my life throughout the day. And then at night, I always end the night meditating.
Wow. Yep,
And I have my
so great.
sponsor that I'm working with also.
That's right. And you have a sponsee too, huh?
Sponsor, yes.
All right. All right. Glad you're here. Welcome aboard. Uh, Jeff, what's your daily program look like? 39 years.
Jeff Alcoholic. Well, my daily program looks, the 86, 87 upon awakening, and how about retiring? I'm back to that, and I read it like you said every in the morning and in the evening, and I try and just check on myself from time to time during the day when I get into negative thinking or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, it's very important. And I try and I have a couple of conversations with some very positive people twice a day. And I'm always talking to once a day, at least once a day, to someone outside of this meeting or someone who's sober, you know.
And
So
I noticed that your behavior and your thinking is always kind of on a high plane, and you notice in this group we try to hold the space. The space that we hold here is a recovery space on a higher plane.
yes,
We don't drift into um, gossip and uh, being critical of others or any of that. We're always like trying to live inside the 11th step in this meeting,
yes.
of care for other people. This is a pretty high level meeting in that terms. You know what I'm saying?
I do. If I might just add, yes, that's what I've been thank you for the segue because I've been wanting to talk about this. You go to other meetings and people drift off. I mean, no one's stopping and no one's like setting the tone of the meeting. I mean, it's not that it's not a control issue. It's just about let's stay and exercise what the program's teaching us. You get people that are drifting off. It becomes like an erotics convention. Really, and no one's stopping these people. Say, well, let's talk about.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
really. I mean,
Did you say a neurotics convention?
I'm sorry. I don't want to put it.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. That was
I
too
don't know. I try and avoid that myself, but here it's
yeah.
programmed to let's keep it on that level.
I
Thank you
now
for
I had a
understanding.
sponsor that was no nonsense in that way. We
Yeah,
sort of carries over here that we're with the space and the level that we're operating at on this level is one of highest possible integrity and
yes,
sobriety, compassion, and if you look at what they did in the 1930s, they were all operating at a very high level. I mean, you're
we did.
talking
We
about
were. Yeah.
inventory, confession, making amends to people, changing your whole life.
Mhm.
It's you're taking this giant ship that's headed to hell and turning it around. It's
Right.
like in the middle of all this fire and storm. So that's kind of what we're doing here. I mean, we just don't have any time. When you're new, you don't have any time to jump off because you could die easily.
Yes.
Alcoholism, alcoholism's primary purpose is to kill you. It's to keep you drinking and kill you. Our primary purpose here is to recover from alcoholism and turn our life around in what we're doing. So we have to keep that space. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, so now let's go over to Leslie. So Leslie, you had an assignment for today. What was it? How are you? Hi.
It was the doctor's opinion, and that's Dr. Silkworth. And basically, what he's saying is that AA can succeed where he and medical knowledge could not. He said that the public may rely absolutely on anything the members of AA say about themselves. The body of alcoholics is as abnormal as his mind, but mostly it's that the scientific approach to this disease, treating this disease, did not work, and only the spiritual and one alcoholic helping another
Now, I
was
have a
successful.
question, two things here. So the guys, Preston just put up a link to the doctor's opinion for those of you. So when we start talking about stuff, we'll put it up in chat on the right. So what did you personally get this time from reading the doctor's opinion? What hit you that hadn't hit you before?
I don't think anything new came out of it. It's probably the fourth or fifth time I've read it, but that AA works where nothing else did for
Mhm.
this disease.
And you've told me in the past, you texted me, that this meeting seems to work for you the best of anything that you've had. You want to talk
Yes.
about that? Because I know you've been having a little bit of a hard time. You're sober now, which is good.
Yeah, I had 23 years sober with regular AA. I went for 7 years and then, got busy with family stuff, but I was sober from the age of 25 to 48 years old. And then I lost it. And since that time, I've gotten a year, I've gotten 3 months, I've gotten different periods of time, but I've never been able to really grab onto sobriety since.
Hey, isn't this meeting fun? It's kind of like the Jerry Springer show, except we don't throw chairs in here.
Good. No chairs.
All right. All right, Leslie. So tomorrow, I'm going to give you an assignment for tomorrow, okay? Are
Okay.
you ready? All right. I want you to find 2 AA jokes from the
Okay.
Annals of Alcoholics Anonymous, okay? two AA jokes. You ever have an assignment like that before?
No, but I've already got them, I think. But
All
okay,
right, well,
see you tomorrow.
save them for tomorrow. What are you laughing at, Matt? That's pretty funny. Let's go talk to Aaron. Hey, Aaron, hi, how are you? So you had an assignment. What was yours for today?
And good afternoon, Jan Dog. Okay, so my assignment was
She likes
to,
calling me Jan Dog, huh? It's like the gangster in her.
yeah, right? So
Okay.
my assignment was to read the preface and the four forewords, and then also to do the first half of step one.
Let's talk about the first half of step one. What'd you come up with?
Okay, 55 different incidences.
Good. Do you want to just share one?
Okay, one will well, it's kind of 3 in 1. I got 3 DUIs in 2 weeks. And on the third one, my son was in the car with me. He was 5 years old at the time, and we lived in a golf course community, and I hit the fence of the golf course community, and he was in the car. So that was very traumatic. The consequences, obviously, I can just now and that was 14 years ago, I can just now talk about it without bawling my eyes out.
Oh.
And obviously the consequences that he has suffered, and the only thing
So
really is
talk to
living
me
that.
for a second here about that you just got sober 72 days, you had 8 years, and you went back to drinking. Tell us about that. Did you write that one down? What was it that made you pick up a drink after 8 years?
It was really well, relapse happens way before it happens. I actually was very sick, and bedridden, and wanted to get out of the house one day, and I decided to go on a drive and went to the store and got a bottle of liquor and drove drunk, and just relapse happens before it happens. So I can, in retrospect, I could see I had stopped going to meetings. My sponsee died, the one sponsee that I was working with, and I took that to heart, and I had stopped going to meetings and
Yeah.
just picked up.
And then how long did that slip last for?
Well, let's see, 7 years or so?
7 years, wow. And
Yeah,
here you are,
and here
72
I am.
days. You went to rehab and you started coming to this meeting a couple weeks ago, huh?
Yes, I love
Right.
this meeting. It's great.
Oh, good. I'm glad you do. Because, sometimes it could be hard. It starts to stretch us. People start to come apart, sometimes this meeting can be slightly intense, but you seem to be yeah, I think you're doing the right thing. You're going to other meetings and
Mm-hmm.
and it's always my recommendation is just try to focus, even Matt, Matt has a full-time job. He has kids, he has a family, but he's like here all the time, very focused on the work and that
Mm-hmm.
forward motion of getting better and healing. So, okay, good. We're going to give you the second half of the first step right now, and Preston or Matt's going to put it up in chat. The second half of the first step says, there it is. Write about the unmanageability of your entire life, drunk or sober, in the following areas: money, family, husband, cars, kids, pets, jobs, relationships, friends, the law. So an example for me, or in school, so an example for me, if I start writing about my unmanageability of my entire life in school, I mean, I could go from first grade all the way up through college, where I mean, like in first grade, I didn't go to kindergarten. The other kids were more socialized, and I was having a very hard time becoming socialized. So the first grade teacher had me stay after school so that she could help me. But everybody was like, "Oh, you have to stay after school, therefore you're bad." And then she had to point out that no, it's just that we're going to work on some different separate things. So I have incident upon incident of school, of me being slightly out of control. And then it was also matched by other things where I would excel, and it would be like, and I'm sure a lot of alcoholics have that. You have teachers look at you and go, "My God, you're doing really great here. How did you manage to pull that off?" So that's kind of what we write about, the unmanageability of our entire lives. And it's not always connected with drinking. So work, at least write a couple on each one, okay? Well, and what did you get uh, out of the preface and the doctor's opinion? What stand out? Give me one or two standout things. Oh, wait, back to okay, go ahead.
Okay, so what I got from that, the 5 things that I got was about the origins and growth, and then I wrote a sentence about each one, but I know we're running out of time. And then the personal stories and unity, and then the global reach and adaptability, and then enduring the relevance and innovation. Those were the 5 things that and then the purpose and message of hope. So I don't
And
know.
what about the doctor's opinion? That's
I
good.
haven't read that yet. I haven't read.
Okay, good. So you could read that tonight.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Good job. You're
Thank
hanging in
you.
there. You're doing the work. Gwen, over to you. What was your assignment?
My assignment was part 2 of step 1, write about the unmanageability. So just a couple highlights is what I'm guessing you're wanting. My husband, towards the last 6 months, he was taking care of me, when I didn't make it to the toilet and back. He would have to help me get in the shower because I wouldn't shower for a week or 2 weeks. My daughter witnessed me drunk and falling down. And because of that, I didn't spend any more time with them very often,
Okay,
because
so
I was
there you
drinking.
go. This is perfect. Unmanageability of my entire life in these areas. It's up in chat. So, what was your reading assignment?
I didn't have a reading assignment.
What's the last thing you read?
I've been reading this book called Modern 12-Day
No, no, no,
Recovery.
no, 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 no. What was the last
And
read? No, wait. What was the last
oh,
reading assignment from us?
well, we talked about it all. It was the preface and the forewords and the doctor's opinion. And
Oh,
I already, discussed that in here.
okay, good. So we're going to move on to Bill's story for tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, and we're going to give you the second step. Preston's going to put it up there for you right now. The
Okay.
second step, what we do in here is the third step says, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to care of God as we understood it. The first step said, let me see here. The second step says, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. But we don't know what that power is. So what we do for our purposes is we create our own God. And here it is right here in chat. Examples. So what you're going to do is you're going to write 10 attributes of God as a best friend. If God were a best friend, do you see it in chat? Are you looking at
Yes,
it?
I do.
Okay. So an example would be he would keep me from drinking, help me do the program, someone who's going to heal me. That sort of thing, would never abandon me, would always be with me, would never leave me. So if God were a best friend or a superpower, Preston, you could add it to that, or a superpower. 10 attributes of a superpower or a best friend. Okay, and we do some examples there. So write about that and read Bill's story.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds
good.
good.
Craig, what was your assignment?
I had to read the four words, and then
And the preface. Oh yeah, what'd you
in the
get out of it?
preface. Yeah, I didn't get to that yet. I just got it last night, so I'm going to work on it later tonight and hopefully have it done by this weekend.
All right. Sounds good. Um,
Not prepared for class. Sorry.
no, no, no. Well, you could read it while we're here. How about you, Ron? What was your last reading and writing assignment?
I wasn't given one. Yesterday was my first meeting here.
Oh, yesterday was your first meeting? All right. How are you doing? How are you liking it?
I'm enjoying it. I've enjoyed it a little bit more today than I was a little overwhelmed by the format yesterday.
I know it. All right. Do you have a big book?
I do.
Read the preface and the four forwards for tomorrow and give me 5 takeaways. The preface and the 4 forwards, or whatever you have there. And just give me write down 5 takeaways, okay?
Yes, sir.
All
Well,
right.
yes, I will.
All right. Okay, cool. Uh, let's go to Rebecca. What is your recent assignment?
Working 10, 11. So I do that daily. Also throughout the day, I kind of try to really check myself before I wreck myself.
That's right.
I love that. So yeah, I'm working, daily on that. Also starting to read, the stories in the big book. So
Okay. Are you reading them in the back of the book, starting
yeah,
with Dr. Bob's Nightmare?
yeah.
All right, that's good. Excellent. So how are you doing? Are you doing good?
Doing well. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, all right, all right. Glad you're here.
Thanks.
All right, let's go talk with Lisa. Did we talk to you already, Lisa, or not yet?
I talked to you earlier. Basically, I'm still just focused on the resentment. I don't know, do you call it the resentment prayer? I
Oh yeah,
still
that's a
work
good one. Yeah,
the
on
steps.
552.
I still work the steps and read pages 84 to
And the
88.
resentment that you have is against whom now?
My ex-husband,
Oh, yeah, we never liked him, honestly.
and we still don't.
I know.
But I'm trying to
That's a
retrain my
joke.
brain.
I
Yeah, that's not a joke
know,
in
I
my
know, I
life.
know, I
But
know.
just
Okay.
trying to retrain my brain here.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. I'm glad you're doing that. All right. And you come here every day.
And I just continue to help others.
And you
That's
like
it.
coming here?
I do. I do.
What do you
This
like
is,
about this? What do you like about this meeting?
you know what? This meeting, there's really not a lot of drama here compared
Yeah,
to some other meetings. And you've actually helped me work the steps and understand what the steps meant and take some
yeah,
personal inventory and accountability. So
yeah,
it's been
yeah.
more helpful than other meetings or
I get it.
other
Yeah.
programs.
All right. Glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
100%. Emily, over to you. What are you working on?
Okay, I had the preface and the 4 forewords, and I wrote down some of my favorite
Well,
sentences in
before you
there.
do that, I'm going to give you, did I give you a writing assignment?
Well, I did the first half of step 1, and then
Have you done the second half of step 1?
no, I haven't been
Oh, let's
assigned
give
that yet.
that, we're going to give that to you right now. It's right up there in chat. Do you see
Okay.
it?
Let's see.
Second half of step 1, or maybe uh, he's going to put it up again for you. The second half of step 1 it talks about the unmanageability of my entire life. And you're going to write about the unmanageability of your entire life in the following areas. Do you see it in chat? You're going to write about
Yes.
the
Yes, thank you.
unmanageability of your entire, you can copy and paste that and save it. In the areas of money, family, wife, husband, cars, etc., relationships, friends, the law. So if I looked at the unmanageability of my entire life, let's say in the areas of cars, I would forget to pay my car payment, or I would forget where my car was parked. So I would go anywhere and I would lose the car. I'd even park it in front of a bar. I'd get there early enough so I could have a parking spot, and I would walk outside and walk up and down the street. I couldn't find my car, and it was right there. every night. So
I do that now at the grocery store.
there you go. Of course you do, because you're an alcoholic and this is AA. It's like, yep, I thought I was weird. No, it's like standard. Lose the car.
It's also getting old
No, I was like 28
for
when I
me.
got here.
For
I
me.
was 20, I was 28 years old. I lost the car at 28. It's like, what the fuck do you mean you lost the car? It's right here. Oh, is that my car? Yes, this is your car. I didn't realize. I thought it was a different color. No, it's silver like everybody else's. I mean, that's probably why I can't find it. All right. Okay. So do that for tomorrow. And what? Oh, and you read the preface and the four forwards. So tomorrow
Yes.
read the doctor's opinion.
Okay.
All right.
You want to hear my 4 pages of notes on the preface and forward?
No, I don't, because we heard everybody else's. But this is perfect. Stacy. Hey, Stacy, what happened to Debbie? Is she with us still or what? You heard from her?
Hello, Stacy Alcoholic. I'm reading page 86 to 88, working
Yeah.
on 10 and 11. Just continuing my day like that.
How's it going?
Great.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
You
Getting
sure?
some job interviews, so
All right.
hopefully something will come of that, and I'm just trying to stay positive.
So are you going to get a job in the trucking industry again or what?
That would be my goal.
It's Christmas. Aren't they going to be going guns?
I hope so.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I'm glad you're here and I'm glad that you keep sticking with it.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job here. Sam and Virginia, what are you working on? For those of you who are new, see how this meeting goes?
Hey there, Jan. Sam, alcoholic. I'm working on a 9-step in my amends letter. I just got the example that Preston was sharing with me, and I'm changing what I have already written so I can send it over to you for review.
And you have my email?
I do. Let me double check to make sure it's the correct one because I got it a long time ago. Jan. Yep. janscottlive@gmail.com.
That's right. And what's your last reading assignment?
Oh my God, it's been a minute.
Well, I'm going to tell you what it is.
Yeah,
It is
please.
pages 76 to 84. 76 to 84. I'm just cracking Emily up. Emily, try not to have an aneurysm while you're in the meeting.
Thank you, Jan.
It's too much fun. Listen, 76 to 84. All right. Did we talk to Richard in Iowa with 17 days? Not Matt, did I or not yet? Hey, Richard, how's it going? What are you working on, man?
I'm working on I read the preface, but I didn't save the 4 forwards. I got it now since you posted in chat. I forgot to save those ones.
And how many days have you come to this meeting?
This is my 5th day.
Okay, so I haven't given you a writing assignment yet?
You did with the preface and 4 forwards. That's right, 5 things about them. I just
All
read
right.
the preface.
Oh, I'm going to give you the first half of the first step right now.
Okay.
It's in chat, but Preston will put it up again. The first half of the first step says we were powerless over alcohol. So you're going to start with the last time I drank, what I drank, when it was, who I was with, what happened, and what the consequences were. It's right there in chat on the right-hand side. We admitted we're powerless over alcohol. Start with the last time you drank and you work your way backwards to the first time. So you start with the date, when it was, what you drank, who you were with, what happened, what the consequences were. Most people can come up with about 10 to 500 incidents. Are you following me?
Yes, I'm not a very good writer, but I'll try.
Well, just like 25 words. You don't have to show it to me or anything.
Okay.
But do you know how to write?
Yes.
Okay. What is it? Just like a problem, like in terms of technically have a
Well,
hard
like
time?
500 different incidences.
No, you could come up with 10.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Do that.
Yeah. Just come up with 10. So do you see it there in chat?
Yes, I got to save them on my notepad.
All right, there you go. All right, for tomorrow, okay?
All right.
All right, yeah, good. Glad you're here. Welcome aboard. Jessica, how about you? What did you come up with, Les? Did we give you an assignment from yesterday or not?
You told me to write about the last time I drank, who I was with, and the consequences from it.
Yep, and you were gonna work your way all the way back to the first time. How many did you come up with? Just one or any more?
I just came up with my last
Okay.
incident so far, but I'm gonna work
Okay.
on it more today. I thought you meant like just that specific last incident. I didn't.
Yeah, and they keep it's so like keep writing on them, okay? Can you?
Yeah,
Just
of course.
come up with 10, like Cassie came up with 140. I had
Mhm.
100. There's one girl in here that had 350. I'm like, Jesus, you were like a tornado.
Yeah, I'm sure I have a lot more than that. I just thought we were only gonna do that one.
No,
I didn't understand the
that's
instructions,
a
but I
that's
have
a
better understanding now.
yeah, yeah, the mind would like to minimalize all of this. It's like, I'm not, that wasn't that bad. Hey,
Yeah.
did I give you a reading assignment or no?
No.
Do you have an AA Big Book?
Yeah.
Read the preface and the four forwards.
Okay.
All right. Okay. See you tomorrow. Glad you kept
Okay.
coming. Way to go. Who did I miss? Matt,
Elena,
where is she? Oh,
California.
there. Hey, Elena. So how did you like today's meeting?
Oh, I think it's great.
Yeah.
I like that it's really designed as with
Good.
a approach in mind.
So
You
here's
know,
the deal. Come for 5 days
right?
and to see how you like it, which would be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you can. And then we'll put you to work.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You got
All
it.
right, good. Yeah, you're sounding better, huh? You're feeling better than when you first got here, huh?
You know, every meeting is a challenge, but the fact is that we got to keep showing up and
Yeah.
and hearing other people's stories makes me
Yeah.
remember not alone.
That's right. And we don't yell at you here too much.
Ew.
Unless you don't do the assignments, then we Harry Berto, how's it going?
All right, what's
In
up, man?
Los Angeles, California. So
Yeah, I'm working on reading daily reflections every day, and then I read page 86 every day in the evening. Usually I do that in the evening, because in the morning I go on my morning walks and I pray in the morning and then come home and then help my mom throughout the day with whatever she needs help with. And then I'll read daily reflections maybe like an hour and a half before the meeting, and in the evening
nice.
around maybe like an hour and a half from now I'll read page 86.
So how many days sober are you now?
About excuse me, 95 or 96.
All right. Well, and you're in LA. So how are
Yeah.
you doing? How's life? You okay?
All right. And just trying to take it easy, helping my parents and stuff. Just trying to do what I got to do.
Yeah, you got to stay out of the firing line.
Yeah.
You know, the anybody's giving you a bad time, you just got to try to step the hell out of the way.
Even when I was drinking, I really wouldn't say nothing.
You know,
because I just to try to avoid problems. I didn't want to make it worse. So, but yeah, like I said before, I thought it was because I was drinking, and now I'm like, oh well, they still keep doing it. So I mean, I don't know what the problem is.
yeah, I try to push the crazy people out of my life. You
Yeah.
know, like whether it's father, brother. You know, I had those. I had father, brother, sister, other people that worked for them. They're
Yeah.
giving me shit. I'm like, no, 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 no. And I definitely don't stand up for that anymore. So
Yeah.
there's a way we can stand up, and the big book even talks about it. You know, we don't crawl, we don't crawl or become servile before anybody.
Yeah.
You know, we have a God that helps us. Do you know about that one, Jeff? Do you know what that I think it's in the ninth step.
We are neither do we crawl before servile, neither do we crawl before anyone, something like that in the big book.
Yeah.
We're not cocky nor afraid. No, we do not crawl before anyone. We are servants of God. Yes.
Do you know what it is, Kathy? Do you have it memorized? What do you mean, no? Come on, you're like Mrs.
No,
AA.
I'm not too sure.
You may
All
tell
right,
you.
everybody, look that up tomorrow. Where does it talk about crawling and servility?
I already know it. I
Oh,
already
you
know
know
it.
it? Say it.
Yeah.
Preston was Googling it.
It's that part on the amends where it's like, as God's people, we stand on our feet. We don't crawl before anyone. Talking about when you're making amends, like not to,
Where's the word
like,
servile come in?
oh, I don't know. I think that's an old word. I don't
No,
know.
it's an old word. The book was written in the 1930s. Of course, it's old. Bill thought he was the 13th disciple. Wrong, I am. That's a joke. Okay, so let's look that up. The word being servile. Cassie's cracking up. I used to say that in my TV show. I'd start quoting the Bible around Christmas, and it says, "No one comes to the Father but through me." And I said, and then they would put up on the screen, "Jan," and people say, "What?" And I say, "Oh, never mind." Or at Easter time, I would declare that I was the new and risen Christ, and that was always popular. They put that on the front page of the newspaper. They actually did on Easter Sunday. Talk show host declares that he is Jesus. And so I had to like write to them and say, look, that was a joke. They're like, it was a joke. I said, yeah. I said, you don't think you're Jesus? I said, no, of course not. What are you fucking crazy? Okay. Speaking of Jesus, Matt, you want to read the promises?
Yep.
Dog third.
Mad
Today's
alcoholic.
dog,
These are the
dog
promises
Thursday.
on page 83 of the big book.
Yep.
We are painstaking about this phase of our development. We'll be amazed before we are halfway through. We're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We'll comprehend the word serenity and will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We'll lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We'll suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They're being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They'll always materialize if we work for them.
Okay, thank you. Here comes the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So this meeting is officially over, and you can unmute if you have any question about today's meeting or AA or this meeting in general. I set it so you can unmute. So, Cassie, you look like you've had a good time today.